I was having a little technical difficulties there for a minute, but I'm here, y'all. I'm here and I'm ready. Let me see. Let me just stop a screen from behind me that's running, because sometimes my internet be acting up. But listen, people, we're here. We're here. It's Thursday. It's the last day in July. Just like that, it's the last day in July. But we're here. We're in the building. We got stuff to talk about. It's trending topics, people. And we got to talk about it, okay? Trending topics, and the title is called Men Part 2. Men Part 2. Yes, Men Part 2. So Diddy the other day, he asked for bail again. And now the lawyers wrote something again last night. They want an acquittal on the Mann Act charges. And listen, because y'all that come to my trending topics are normally, what they used to call back in the day, my day ones, the one that always been hanging out with me, be hanging out with me for a while. Y'all know I was one of the first people from the moment they raided his house that I called BS on the whole thing. And throughout the whole trial was calling BS. But y'all know I like to keep it 100. And these are Diva thoughts. These are not facts. These are my thoughts, my opinions. And y'all can have yours. I think he's playing with fire. And yes, by the definition of the Mann Act, should he have been charged? No. But his lawyers had the opportunity during the trial to argue said point. And they didn't. Now they want to come back talking about some acquittal because he should have never been charged in the first place. Y'all, if you ask me, they a day late and $1 short. How would you feel if the prosecution came back and said, you know what? Let's retrial him again on the RICO charges, because now we want to add the co-conspirators and some more witnesses. Y'all will be losing your natural mind, and rightfully so. His lawyers had the opportunity during that 6 weeks, 7 week, how long that trial was. At the end, they closed their case and not one witness. And if they was concerned about that Mann Act, they could have added that information in the closing arguments. Does he really want to go through another trial to throw out the Mann Act charges? I think he's playing with fire. And I think he should leave well enough alone. And I think he should walk the route of just getting a pardon from Trump. But to go back in court to get another judge, because they're not going to give him Judge Iran. If they smart, they wouldn't. To get another judge. Judge Iran, to me, and I said it the whole time because I said it was a circus. He was playing games. You don't know what judge you're going to get the second time around. If I was Diddy, I would say, count your lucky stars. Let's roll in the direction of getting a pardon from Trump and carrying on. And another reason why I'm saying that, what is that? Those ones from the reality show that Trump pardoned. They're gonna be back on TV. They're gonna be back on TV. They got a reality show coming out. But I just think you're playing with fire. And they're saying, oh, he never slept with the man. Listen, I wasn't in none of those rooms. I can't say who he did sleep with, didn't sleep with, what he did do, did not do. But you don't know who might be called to this stand the second time around. Let this thing go, Diddy. Get your pardon, go on with your life, and fight these civil suits. But that's a diva thought. And we're going to talk about it. It's called Men Part 2. Then we're going to talk about a Shannon Sharpe. Now he's getting sued for $20 million. Club Shay Shay or Nightcap or whatever. His company is getting sued along with Ocho Cinco. Y'all remember that lady that was at the Usher concert? You know Usher at his concerts, he was feeding the people the cherries and all that kind of stuff. Well, she went viral, one of these ladies, and he did it with a lot of people, but this particular lady, she went viral, and they was claiming that she was married, and they had a whole story. They said the husband was upset because she showed Usher more affection than she ever showed the husband. Well, now she's suing for $20 million. She said she never had no husband. She didn't have a husband, and they made up a whole lie. And she said that she was trying to reach out to them to tell them they was telling a whole lie. Nobody responded to her, so now she's suing. Soon we ain't gonna be able to talk about nothing because everybody want to sue. Now she's suing. So similar to Diddy, once you open a can of worms, when you pay somebody, child, the people start coming out the woodworks. She wants to get paid. She wants some money. She's suing. Shannon Sharpe. I can't believe it. Just last year, like I said before in the other video, he was riding a high horse, raking in the dough. Everybody was loving him, wanting him, coming to his podcast and do an interview. And just like that, down in the gutter. How much more money does he have to give up out of his pocket? He came out last night on his nightcap talking about, you know what, he good, that he had to part ways with ESPN. He's good, he's fine. He just wish they waited because, you know, his brother's about to go in the Hall of Fame. Sir, nobody owe you nothing. No one. You told us you was going to fight this. You told us the truth was going to surface. And then you settled. Well, we'll talk about Shannon Sharpe. This is called Men Part 2. Then this evil adopted dad snapped on the young boy because he ate his donut sticks. Unalived the boy and put him in a washing machine. Yeah. Who can get, listen, especially when it comes to sweets these days, if you ate my cookie, my chicken, whatever, it can't be that serious to me, especially if my kid ate it. I'll never understand these individuals who snap and take somebody else's life. And you don't want kids to be in foster care all their life. And you never know when you allow a couple to adopt, you know, people know how to play it off. They bat crazy, but when it comes to all the interviews, when they have to adopt, they just seem like the nicest couple ever. And just like that, they took that kid's life. May he rest in peace. Super sad. I don't even know what to say about it. Because you don't want kids to stay in foster care, but at the same time, like, they might have been better off in foster care than that psycho that he was with. And I want to say that the mother, the man was married and the wife was involved too. It's just a mess. It's sad. Just never know. Listen, if you survived your childhood, shout out to your parents or your parent. It's a lot people go through these days. So listen, people, buckle your seatbelt because we got to talk tonight. I know a lot of people are not in agreement with me with this Diddy thing. I did a video earlier and the people was losing their mind. Yes, Katrina, thank you so much. The Grizzlies, they cut the Grizzlies. They're coming out. They got a reality show just like that. The minute they got out of jail, it was like they was never in jail. But you see how their people do them? They embracing them. And this show probably go back #1 again. But listen, buckle your seatbelt because we got stuff to talk about. Yes, we do. And we may not be in agreement tonight, but we're going to agree to disagree and we're going to carry on and move on. Y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Men Part 2. Diddy wants out. He wants an acquittal, okay, on these Mann Act charges. He's not playing. It's like, okay, we got found not guilty on the serious charges. Now we want you to just throw this whole thing out or give us another trial. Diddy, be careful. You don't want another trial. Trust me, you don't. And the reason why you don't want another trial is because they're angry at you. They're angry that you got off on these serious charges, even though they should have never brought them in the first place. If you think they're going to give you another trial and not bring in the gusto, the dad that snap and Shannon Sharpe. Hold on, the platform. Hey, Callie, how are you? Listen, there's room on the platform. If you never joined and you want to join, hey.
Hello. Okay, I think my internet is better now.
Okay. It's storming out here in Jersey, but it's like going off and on. But I'm doing okay so far, so we're gonna get it in. If you never ever wanted to join the panel, well, tonight's the night. Hit the link and come up and chat with us, okay? Because we're gonna have this conversation. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with this dad that snapped, because what happens is my computer gets tied up a little bit when I have videos up. And this one, I have a video connected to it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that one. So let me share screen so we can get into this story. Adorable young man. Let's take a listen.
Harris County jury just sentenced a man to 50 years in prison for murdering his adopted son. We first started covering this tragic story 3 years ago when the body of 7-year-old Troy Kohler was found inside a washing machine in the family's North Harris County home. Aniele Ruiz is hearing from those who spoke on Troy's behalf in court today. Aniele.
Well, Troy's first grade teacher stood in front of court today to face the man. She says the man charged in killing her student. The boy she recalls as being her loved one, as being one of her own.
And a child shall lead them. That verse has never felt more real.
In a Harris County courtroom, Cheryl Reed stood face to face with the man convicted of killing her student, 7-year-old Troy Kohler.
He was like a son that I never had. I love that little boy.
Troy was found dead inside a washing machine in 2022. Investigators say his adoptive father, Jermaine Thomas, drowned him and struck him with an object.
That doesn't make sense to me. That's heartless. It's cruel.
But today, as the sentence came down, Cheryl stood strong for Troy.
Why was it important for you to participate in this?
Speak for Troy since he couldn't speak for himself, and to advocate for Troy, and so that people would understand that he wasn't just a 7-year-old boy found in a washing machine.
She remembers a boy full of life with a love for Sonic the Hedgehog and a heart for others.
He was a big ball of energy. He loved to read. He loved to play. He loved to help others.
As she read this statement, she says she looked Jermaine Thomas in the eye.
What was his reaction?
He didn't have tears. He did give me some eye contact.
Now sentenced to 50 years in prison, she says Thomas will carry what he did for the rest of his life. But what she hopes the most,
I want him to think about Troy every single day for the rest of his life.
now Troy's adoptive mother is expected to appear in court here in September. Troy's teacher says she'll be here again if she's asked by officials. She also says she plans to start a foundation to honor Troy, to help other children who might be facing similar situations. Reporting live in downtown Houston, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
A teacher speaking for her child, her student who could not. Anayeli, thank you.
So sad. Just so sad. Let me give a little more detail to the story. So the mother was charged too, the adopted mom, but her case didn't come up yet. We'll hear about what she's sentenced to in September. And, you know, shout out to all the good teachers out there, because this teacher seemed to have really loved him. Texas dad murdered a 7-year-old adopted son who was found dead in a washing machine after the child ate his donut sticks. A monster Texas dad murdered his 7-year-old adopted son and stuffed his lifeless little body in a washing machine because the child ate his donut sticks. Jadaine Thomas, 45, will now spend 50 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to the gruesome unaliving of little Troy Kohler on July 28, 2022. I need to get the locks. I'm going to end up unaliving him, Thomas filmed in text messages before acting upon his threats, according to prosecutors. The little boy's dead body was found in a bloody top-load washing machine, according to the news. Kohler suffocated from asphyxiation, blunt force trauma, and possible drowning. He was also bruised and had injuries to the face. And that is little Troy right there. What an adorable picture. This 7-year-old Troy Kohler, on July 28, 2022, Troy was found dead inside a washing machine at his family's home. Today, nearly 3 years to the day, Troy's adopted father was sentenced to 50 years in prison. He would have been as Troy's beloved former first grade teacher, Cheryl Reed, said in court this morning, now we will never know what he could have become. His future, his dreams, his life was stolen by someone who was supposed to love, protect, and nurture him. Ms. Reed's victim impact statement will forever stay with those who heard it in the 184th District Court this morning. Today, a reader, tomorrow, a leader. That was always Troy. He loved reading. If he finished early, he head straight to our class library. Then he go back to share some stories with classmates, always lifting others up with the joy he carried. But Troy wasn't just leading his classmates. He led me too. He led me to become a better teacher, a better mentor, and a better person. His energy, his smile, in his love for learning reminded me daily why I choose this path. Cheryl Reed. Troy, you touched so many lives in your short time here. May those who love you find peace, justice served. Kohler's beloved first grade teacher, Cheryl Reed, delivered a heartbreaking account of her former student in Harris County Court on Wednesday. Now we will never know. I think I read all of that to you. Kohler's adopted mother, Tiffany Thomas, also pleaded guilty to her lesser charge of injury to a child in connection with the little boy's death. Her sentence hearing is slated for September 10th. Thomas threatened to shove Kohler in the oven if he didn't confess to eating some of her oatmeal cream pies, according to the news. The couple adopted Kohler in 2019, and the family had a history with Child Protective Services, according to the local media outlet. I don't know how you have a history with Child Protective Services. I don't know if the history started with him, but this is sad. This is just so sad. Callie, your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know how. I think it was actually probably worse than this for this kid, because why did they get this kid in the first place? Mm-hmm. So it kind of sounds like it was something always nefarious going on with these people. Yeah, this is a lot, because this is the second story in a row that I've heard about somebody like hurting a kid. that was left in their care that wasn't even their kid.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to be said about this. This is insane.
Yeah. Insane.
I have a feeling that this was ongoing with this child, and it wasn't just over the donuts. This was just something that he did. You know what I mean? Because again, why did you even get this child? Like, imagine going through a whole adoption process to get a kid, only to treat the kid this way. It's this kind of seems like they were up to something from the beginning.
And you know what's so crazy? How do two evil people just meet up? It's just crazy. So it's one thing the dad is a psycho, and so the mom is one too.
Well, you know, there was a couple out here that had a whole house full of kids that they were, you know, mistreating for years. So we've seen these stories where it's a couple, you know, doing something weird to people together. I don't know. This is just too evil.
Very evil. So sad. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. My thing is they got that baby just so they can get money. And then they get an allowance. When you adopt a child, you get an allotment every month. And if y'all buying sweets, why y'all not buying enough for him? If he got to get your oatmeal pie or he got to get your donut sticks, why y'all don't buy him his own snacks so he won't have to mess with y'all? And then you sat around and you let this man put that baby after he suffocated him, put him in a washing machine, and they gave him 50 years. You know me. I'm saying put him in the washing machine and turn on the hot water and see how he like it and lock the door. This is so sad. And it's another thing that I had to stop questioning God about, because when I had people that passed away in my family, and I'm like, why they was a good person, why is they gone? And the pastor told me sometimes God needs good people on his side as well. So this baby is an angel, and hopefully he's looking down and helping somebody else. But this is sad on so many levels, and I don't even know why he's in jail. The baby's not alive. I don't even know why they haven't just slapped him. I don't know why they haven't put him in the electric chair. This is ridiculous. He don't deserve to live. That baby didn't live. And I'm not all about genocide and, unaliving people whatsoever. But I'm saying this. You took this child life, and who knows what this child could have been in his life. He was already had a strike against him because he was in the foster care system. Then he get with these idiots and demons. They're not idiots. They're demons. He get with these demons, and you'd unalive him over a donut stick that only 99 cents at the store. 50 years. He shouldn't even have no 50 years. They should do to him what he did to this baby. This baby didn't stand a chance. He didn't stand a chance. He's already in the system. Then be put in the house with them. And why they didn't do an investigation with the people? You say they had some kind of complaint with the foster system already. So why in the heck did y'all put this child with these people? Because y'all want these kids out the system and just send them anywhere. You're not checking these people out. You're not running the background checks. You're not looking into all this. You just want to place these kids anywhere. And y'all do that. And then they just want the kids because they get money from the kids. Like I said, 50 years is not enough. We'll see what happened with her, but it's not enough. I think both of them need to be locked up in washing machines and somebody turn on the hot water and let them see how it feels. That's all I got.
Oh, so, I'm going to stay connected to this story. Very sad. I will stay connected to see what happens with the mom, like how much time she gets. But for her to not even for him to not even really seem like he had any remorse while he was in the courtroom, it's just crazy to me. is just insane. May his soul rest in peace. So young, and God bless the teacher, and God bless all the good teachers out there, because she seemed to have really connected and cared about this student. I'm going to go ahead and roll into the Shannon Sharpe story, because Shannon Sharpe is being sued yet again. Let me first share screen. I'm not going to be able to play it because Usher is singing and I can't play the music. So let me share my Instagram and then I'll share the story. So, oops, Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco sued for $20 million after shaming woman from a viral Usher Cherry video claims they falsely accused her of being married and damaged her reputation. I'm not married, nor am I currently going through a divorce. Okay, so this, I remember when this happened because it went viral. Okay, and many people had all of these stories that she was married, her husband was upset, saying that, you know, she don't give him no affection, but she went to the Usher concert and showed all this affection towards Usher, and she's suing now, saying it's not so. But I will say this, she didn't just outright sue according to this article. She did try to reach out to them and say, look, take that mess down, and I guess they never responded. So, emotional distress. Shannon Sharpe sued for $20 million after ESPN star shamed woman over flirty video with Usher and wrongly said husband left her. Plus, inside the latest with the star's departure at ESPN. So there again, they're showing it and how close he was. You know, Usher is messy. He married, but this was performative for his concert. So Shannon Sharpe is being sued for $20 million after the former ESPN star shamed the woman over a flirty video with Usher and wrongly alleged her husband left her over the incident. In court documents exclusively obtained by the U.S. Sun, the woman Jamalita Tillman is suing Sharpe, as well as his nightcap co-host Chad Ochocinco Johnson and the podcast production company Shay Media. The woman claims the host knowingly propagated a false narrative about her marital status in court papers. Sharpe, 57, just settled a $50 million lawsuit with a woman who accused him of R, and he was officially let go from his ESPN job on Wednesday. In Tillman's complaint, she explained on April 2nd, 2025, I participated in a fan engagement moment at an Usher Raymond concert where I interacted with the artist as a selected audience member. The interaction quickly went viral. Hold on one second. The interaction quickly went viral after fans noted the intensity between Tillman and Usher in the fun moment. Made and disseminated false and defamatory statements suggesting I was married and that my husband was filing for divorce due to my participation in this audience experience. I am not married, nor am I currently going through a divorce, she went on to explain. I was not married at the time of the fan participation moment during the Usher concert. The defendant's false narratives were shared widely across their platforms, reaching millions of followers, viral spread and refutation efforts, despite my clear and public reputation of the false narrative. The woman, who is a global director for the Harold Washington Cultural Center, says she even went on national media shows to refute the allegations from the ESPN First Take star that she was a married woman. Despite that, she alleged the defendants continue to post the defamatory content across their social media platforms. I made numerous efforts to contact the defendants to request the removal of this false narrative, but these requests were disregarded. The single mother added that the false statements have caused significant harm to my character and reputation. She further argued they continued dissemination of these false statements after I publicly clarified my marital status demonstrates a reckless regard for the truth. Tillman further alleged the ongoing misinformation has resulted in emotional distress for the plaintiff, damaged her reputation, and adversely affected her personal and professional relationship. The Chicago native, who previously homeschooled daughter received her doctorate while still a teenager, is seeking $20 million in damages. The U.S. Sun had reached out to Sharpe attorneys for a comment, In a conversation with the U.S. Sun, Tillman added, "We've been in communication with the legal team of Shay Media, who was also representing Shannon Sharpe. They're looking to resolve this matter quickly, and we will probably have more to share upon our next conversation." The lawsuit comes on the heels of the news that ESPN fired him this week after he settled another expensive lawsuit earlier this month with a woman who accused him of R. Sharpe is out at ESPN. NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe has not appeared on ESPN since a lawsuit accusing him of manipulation, physical abuse, and SA was filed back in April. ESPN decided to part ways with Sharpe, was first reported by The Athletic and later confirmed by the U.S. Sun. Though ESPN has declined to comment on the move, Sharpe's legal team has also refrained from providing any statements. The lawsuit filed by a woman identified as Jane Doe alleged that Sharpe SA turned in late 2024 and early 2025 when she was 20 years old. The suit claimed the player had dated for about 2 years before the alleged incident. Sharpe has strongly denied the allegations, maintaining that the relationship was 100% consensual. He previously expressed plans to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL training camp, which began last week. On July 18, Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, announced the dismissal of the lawsuit in a post on X, formerly Twitter, following a confidential settlement. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution, Busby wrote. All matters have been addressed satisfactorily and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will thus be dismissed with prejudice. Pending lawsuit with Michelle Evans. So Sharpe also faces a separate lawsuit filed by Michelle Bundy Evans, 53, who alleges the former NFL star arced her and threatened her after she filed a restraining order against him. Evans, a former sportscaster, met Sharpe during his time playing for the Denver Broncos. The judge in Evans' case recently ordered Sharpe's Jane Doe accuser not to destroy an S-tape that could serve as evidence in a pending lawsuit involving Evans, as the U.S. Sun exclusively reported last week. Sharpe's career impact: despite the allegations, Sharpe has continued hosting his podcast, Club Shay and Nightcap, both powered by The Volume. The latter podcast features former NFL legend Chad Ochocinco as a co-host. In May, the U.S. Sun reported that Sharpe was pursuing a $100 million podcast deal, but the SA allegations caused the deal to collapse. Sharpe joined ESPN in 2023 after spending 7 years as a co-host on First Takes, I think that's called Undisputed. He quickly became a key figure alongside Stephen A. Smith on First Take, helping the show achieve high ratings. Smith openly expressed his desire for Sharpe to return to First Take following the lawsuit, stating, "I'm hopeful I have my brother back on the airways talking football next season." Well, we know that it's not happening. However, ESPN and First Take will now rely on other football analysts for the upcoming NFL season, which begins early September. Since Sharpe's departure in April, the show has featured NFL icon Cam Newton, who joined ESPN as an analyst last October. This is the one that is suing him for $20 million. This is Ms. Tillman, okay? And then last night on his Nightcap show, Shannon Sharpe pretty much said, he's okay with what happened with ESPN.
Folks, the Wi-Fi is both.
I'll wait to accuse up, or I may have to go to another place. But if you did not see him talk about it, go to his Nightcap show. Pretty much he addresses it right in the beginning. He talks about he wanted them.
Obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week. And really, the only thing that I really ask is, like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really wanted to be about him, and I wanted to be about my family. I know this coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today.
So he pretty much said he apologized to his brother, but his brother, pretty much told him don't worry about it. But he has another lawsuit lurking in the background. Callie, your thoughts?
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. It's over for Shannon. I'm telling you, a few years from now, it's gonna be like, hey, what happened to Shannon Sharpe? Remember him? That's what it's gonna be. I can already feel that the tide is shifting. Now, as far as this lawsuit, I don't know if this is something that's been cooking or if it's something that's been cooked up, because it kind of seems like there's this thing that's happening that once someone gets sued or accused of something, there are sort of these lawyers that go around and recruit these people. This is what I feel is happening, who may have a grievance against you and go, hey, you could sue too, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. This is the heck of a timing. You know what I mean? Like, why now would all this woman be suing now that these other two women are suing? Unless either A, she was always suing, or B, that, someone has gotten her to do this, to just kind of take him down. But, I don't have much to say about Shannon, because I think that he is on his way out. I think that podcast is going to be gone soon. And, he's already been let go from ESPN, but who's shocked about that? I don't know. His behavior was honestly weird before we found out about any of this stuff. He was always a little strange, and I think that he was given a lot of accolade and sort of, put on a pedestal as being unk and all of this stuff. When if you really look at his personality and who he is, he never deserved any of that. Like, he was always like this clown. So, bye, Shannon. I mean, if this lady feels like she has a suit, I can see where she's coming from, because she is a professional woman. And if you're out doing business with people, networking with people, you got to go to work, all of this stuff, and people are thinking that you are in this viral video, sort of, throwing yourself at this man when you're married and you're not even married. I can kind of see how that might be something that might mess up some opportunities for you, or make people not treat you with as much respect as they would have. I mean, it may sound frivolous, but at the end of the day, this woman's not a public figure. She has to go to work. She has to go out and be around people. And she did reach out to them. And instead of them just apologizing and saying, oh my God, I thought this lady was married, so we just want to put it out there, hey, she's not married. This was a fake story, which is what I would have done if someone reached out to me. Yeah. They just, I don't understand,
I don't
so at this point, hey, if she gets awarded something, she gets awarded something.
Yeah. So if she was on the kiss cam with Usher, would she sue the venue? Well, now he hasn't done it, but that one CEO, he wanted to blame what's the Coldplay in the kiss cam for his infidelities. I don't know. People are being wild. Here's the thing: if you go to a public place and they do this kiss cam, you agree to be part of this thing that Usher does. I don't think it's right that they made up a whole story about her. But the guy, the CEO with the kiss cam, it's just he was joking and it happened to be true. Y'all was cheating.
That's true. I think what people are wanting to sue for are the stories and allegation not being on the cam. Like, okay, it's one thing to show this lady on the cam. It's another thing to make up a whole story that she has a husband that doesn't exist. And now this lady got to go to work and go out and do business with people and stuff. And people thinking that she's out here, throwing herself at some man when she's married in this viral video. And the Chris Martin
her story is different. Her story is different.
Chris Martin, he literally said, are these people having an affair? And I knew when I saw the video that it was a big possibility he was going to get sued. And hopefully that man won't sue him, because I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's right. But then the company hired Chris Martin's baby mama to do a promo.
Exactly.
So now I'm wondering, I'm like, what is going on? Is this whole thing a publicity stunt?
No, it's definitely not a publicity stunt, but he's not going to win. He's not going to win. You're in a public place. They do this kiss cam at all type of sports games and wherever else, whatever the case may be. You're hugged up and you was committing adultery. So, sir, go somewhere and sit down. Please and thank you. Kay, you're in the building. Your thoughts?
Hi, good evening. So I have no empathy for him whatsoever. I do agree that the lawsuit does seem a little, the timing of it does seem a little strategic, but I don't even care. I hope she gets it. I hope she gets every dime she's asking for and more, just to teach him a lesson. I agree with Callie that he really didn't deserve the position that he got. He licked the right boots to get there. Okay. And the way he is destroying his own career, just dismantling it piece by piece. I mean, who can feel sorry for him, really? The only person that I feel sorry for, or people I feel sorry for, is his children, because, like Wayne said yesterday, that he gave his daughter $30,000
a $35,000 budget for her wedding.
There you go. Right. And now he's retiring this girl over here. So I only feel sorry for the kids that they didn't get that money. I agree that he's done. And my question is, why should the network care that his brother's going into the Hall of Fame? What does that have to do with them? That has absolutely nothing to do with them. They couldn't care less. So please go sit down with that. Like, please.
Yeah.
And one more thing too is I feel like, so he's talked in the past about how he was teased growing up and he was called ugly and Black women didn't want him or whatever the case was. And then he did get into an argument with another player and they called him a horse, and that like crushed him, said that he looked like a horse, and it just crushed him. He was never able to let it go. But I feel like now that he gained fame and all this money, he now had access to women that he would have never had access to before. And I think he just lost his mind for a minute. Like he forgot who he was and who he wasn't, and that he's dealing with a white woman here, a young one, an extremely young one at that. I don't know what he expected to happen. And it's just a shame that his kids didn't get that money, didn't inherit that money from him. But it's too bad. Can I quickly comment on the story before?
Yes, you can.
My heart breaks for that poor little baby, that adorable child. And I shudder inside to think of what he may have been going through prior to that, because I highly doubt that this was an isolated incident.
Right.
And this poor baby must have been suffering. And the only thing I can hold on to is that he is resting peacefully with God and he is being comforted now in a way that he wasn't on this earth. That's all I got.
I appreciate your thoughts on that. Shannon Sharpe, I can't usually, things connect with me a little quicker than later. I haven't been able to pull together my thoughts yet, Callie and Kay, but I'm leaning somewhere in the middle with this. I think he might end up with a slew of more lawsuits. So Shannon Sharpe has been allegedly, from what they say, he has been paying off people for years. I forgot what the last job that they had to pay one of his co-workers because he choked up the co-worker. So he's another one. He got a problem. He needs therapy. He needs help. And I learned, so people used to laugh at me all the time in the very beginning stages of me doing these stories on YouTube. But I always pull up an article, for a reason. because you ain't gonna say I made nothing up and I lied. It came from TMZ, it came from page 6, it came from there. And then I start my conversation based upon said article. And so it would have been one thing if he commented on the video, but to give this whole scenario afterwards, that because I did hear that this chick was married, her husband was upset, and it just morphed into this whole big thing. And Shannon should know better than that. He's 57. He should know better. Katrina, your thoughts?
He don't know no better. He got Mario coins in his head. With that situation, if she asked him to take it down and he didn't do it, and she could sue for defamation. The same thing, we don't use other people's names on our platform over here, but with Tasha K and Cardi B, she kept asking Tasha, take it down. It's a lie. It's a lie. Tasha wouldn't do it, so she got sued for defamation. So basically, if this caused harm or caused this woman to lose any type of wages or anything like that, because it's a false statement, which means it's defamation. But if she lost any type of money values or something like that, I think it would go through on that one as well. But Shannon, he just a fool. I mean, it don't make no sense. You, like I said last night, you took your body out there, got beat up. You fighting these people up in ESPN, and that's probably why they got rid of him, because they knew this lawsuit was coming, and they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. That's probably why they went on and got rid of him now, because I'm quite sure they know that it was another lawsuit coming down the pipeline. And as for like infringements and stuff like that, yeah, we got this man trying to sue Chris Brown over the name Breezy. Everybody been calling Chris Brown Breezy back in ever since it was 2001, 2002, 2003, whatever, when he came out, 14, whatever. That's been his nickname, Chris Breezy. So they trying to sue him over that. Somebody, he took his name. And I'm like, these people got to be crazy. These people try to sue over anything, try to get money from these people. And I'm not saying that the people that doing things that don't deserve that, because Shannon, you should have took that thing down, especially when the girl told you it was a lie. And for that CO, man, you are insane. How are you going to sue Coldplay when you was out there doing something you had no business doing? It wasn't their fault that it got landed on you. If you wasn't there, then you wouldn't have nothing to try to sue them about. You caused your own self to be in that situation. Nobody put you out there with that. You and that lady was out there by yourself. I believe his wife had a detective and knew they was gonna be out there, and Coldplay just gave him the smoking pow, because it landed right on them. She probably had him investigated. She probably already knew he was out there cheating, and the detective had somebody to put that spotlight right on them. But you do dirt, you get dirt, and sometimes dirt do not come out in the washing machine. You have to take it through the cycle at least 2 times. And now look at your mess. You had to step down from your company that you started. Your wife going to take everything. I hope she do, because she hadn't been out there cheating in the first place. And this woman right here, she already been through marriages, and I think she was married to a billionaire as well. They're just crazy. But too bad, Shannon. You put yourself in that situation. You've been getting away with stuff because you have money, and this time these people are taking the money from you. See, they'll give it to you, but if you don't know how to use it and how to put it up, they're gonna come back and take it right back from you. And for you to abuse a white tea woman, you honestly think they was gonna let you get away with that? Come on, be for real. You played yourself, and she knew you was a mark, and you got marked, and good luck. And as again, yeah, I don't even understand how you can look in your family face, your kid's face. I mean, I would be disgusted. You need to just go get a hole, jump in, and pull a little top right on top of him, because he's just ridiculous. But that's all I got.
Thank you. So let me roll into our last story, and this is Diddy. They're being relentless in this court, and I just feel like he's walking a tightrope right now. So let me share a screen. So Diddy wants a new trial. I'm just a voyeur and an amateur P. Mann Act doesn't apply to me. So Diddy has conviction on 2 counts of the Mann Act overturned. Diddy wants his conviction on 2 counts of the Mann Act overturned. And if not, he's demanding a whole new trial on these charges, according to the new docs filed late Wednesday night. It's pretty stunning, but in the docs obtained by TMZ, Diddy and his defense team make the case for Judge Orange Subramanian changing the Mann Act conviction to an acquittal. Here's why. The Mann Act involves transporting someone across state lines for the purpose of relations. But Diddy's team says they believe he's the only person ever convicted under the statute who did not make money off of said P, did not have sex with an alleged P, and did not arrange the P's transportation. Translation, he's done none of the things spelled out in the Mann Act. Remember, during the trial, none of the S workers, nor Cassie Ventura or Jane, testified Diddy engaged in sex with the S workers. They all said he was either watching or recording the freak-off sessions as the woman had sex with the hired guns. Testimony also revealed it was typically the woman, not Diddy, who made all the arrangements, travel compensation, and hotels for the S workers involved in the freak-offs. Further, they said Diddy S involvement was basically voyeurism, and they point out multiple state courts have held that paying for voyeurism to watch other people have relations is not P. Now Diddy also says the S workers they hired were not only consenting, but they enjoyed the activities and have friendships with Cassie and Jane, and were not merely traveling to have sex for money. In other words, they were all good buddies. We're not sure how much of a difference that will make legally speaking, but there it is. Finally, Diddy says the freak-offs were protected under the First Amendment because they recording or, as they put it in the docs, produce an amateur P for later private viewing. Now, if the court does not overturn his Mann Act convictions, counts 3 and 5 in the federal indictment, Diddy's defense said he deserves a new trial where all evidence related to those counts is omitted. Specifically, his lawyers say that would exclude the Cassie beating video. According to the docs, that evidence was also omitted in his trial because of the RICO and S trafficking charges of which he's been acquitted. And if Diddy were only facing the Mann Act charges, the infamous Intercontinental Hotel footage wouldn't be relevant and will only be unfairly prejudicial. Diddy's legal power move comes on the heels of TMZ breaking the story. President Trump is already considering a pardon for Diddy and could make a decision as soon as the judge makes a decision on Diddy's latest motion to be released on bail ahead of his October sentencing. What's clear now is Diddy's not only wants his freedom, but he wants it with a clean legal slate. Let me say this. There's several reasons why he's poking the bear here. And another one, as I read this, I'll say this. He can say that they arranged it all you want, but in their testimony themselves, I mean, like, are people, is he forgetting? They said that, Diddy gave them the money. Like, what? I mean, you're playing with fire here, because Jane, Nur Cassie had $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 a pop to be given anybody. He's being messy. This is walking on fire. Callie, your thoughts?
Now, from my understanding, he was not actually convicted or even charged with soliciting or getting. It's all about the transport. Mm-hmm. Now, I think where they're coming from is that laws have intent. These laws were intended for pimps. I mean, there's no other way around it. That was the intent of why these laws exist. They're not intended for voyeurism. I didn't even know that there was something legally on the books about voyeurism. So, I mean, these are very good attorneys. I had a feeling that they were going to appeal it, but I thought that they would wait till after the sentencing. But I just knew from the beginning they were going to appeal these charges. Because it is kind of manipulative and tricky in a way. Like, this whole case was them trying to utilize laws for something that they weren't really intended for, with hopes that they can kind of confuse a jury into thinking that this means something that it really actually doesn't. I don't know where this is going to go. I have a feeling that they're going to let him out. It's just becoming too much nonsense. There's too much talk about a pardon. There's just, and like they said, there's no precedence for this. Like, there's nobody in jail in the United States of America in this scenario underneath these laws. Like, not one person. So, and I honestly feel that if he was this Joe Blow slow, he wouldn't be in jail. If he had done the same exact thing, but let's just say he was just some executive at some little company or whatever we had never heard of before. He had a few extra dollars and started paying these guys to do this swinger voyeurism stuff. I honestly think that he would have just got out with time served, and that would have been the end of it. I don't believe that he would be in there if he was not this wealthy. I just don't.
Oh, if he wasn't Diddy, he wouldn't be in there, right? But see, the problem I'm having is that all of this information, you still could have presented it during the trial. You still
they didn't even fight those two charges.
So
they didn't even present it. They did not fight the transport charges during the trial. And I have no idea maybe this was their strategy. I don't know. These are very good attorneys, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, it's stupid. So, and somebody tried to put on in the chat of my other video, the comments said, "This is genius." How's it genius? You taking me as your client, you getting more money from me by asking for a second trial. No, I have to respectfully, I'm gonna say this. It's a stupid strategy. It's stupid strategy.
Well, I think they're going to throw it out. I don't think they're going to retry this again. I really, in all honesty, don't. I think I think that they have had an A full.
Let me tell you why I don't think they're going to throw it out. Because what you got to understand is the prosecution right now is mad because they got egg in their face. There is no way, even on just simple principle, they're going to throw this out, because the headlines will run crazy. And they already spent way too much money on this trial, and they're pissed that they didn't get the RICO. And so this judge, just on the premises of, I'm not going to look this foolish, they're not going to just throw it out. They're not going to do that.
So they're going to do another trial, and they're going to workers to the stand.
No. I don't even think they're going to do another trial. They're going to tell him no and no. At best, I think he's going to get this pardon from Donald Trump, but they're not going to do another trial. They are not going to allow the Southern District of New York to look that foolish. They're not going to do it. And at the end of the day, everybody in history is, whether you're a celebrity or not, could come back and say, oops, we made a mistake. Y'all should have never charged me with that anyway. Get out of here.
Well, no, I don't think it could be everyone in history. I think the problem is they're trying to do something slick with these laws. These laws were not intended.
And Kelly, I'm not fighting you on that, but they've been trying to do it. I said it from the door. They've been trying to do it. But your lawyers had the obligation, just like he was saying from the beginning, it was a RICO. Just like Mark said, this was consensual relationships. Why did you not add that my client should not even have been charged with RICO based on the definition? You can't. It's like you coming back and saying, oops. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I don't know why the defense didn't at least call a couple of witnesses to explain if this is what they're saying. He never personally transported me anywhere, and I never was servicing him. I was servicing this woman, and that's who paid me. Like, they could have at least called a couple of witnesses and tried to defend these charges. That to me is a little bit mind-boggling, because these are the charges he was convicted of.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Measure Man, thank you so much. They saw the judge was biased, so they knew the public was like, nah, not my tax dollars. $25 million, and the judge is up for re-election. Nope, he will walk. You know, I'm going to see how they handle this, but what I do know for a fact is they're not going to take all that egg in their face because they're already pissed. First of all, the prosecution, after this thing was over, they should have came outside. I don't give a darn how the trial goes, whether it goes in your favor or not. Each party comes outside and they should thank the jurors. They didn't even thank the jurors, which is so egregious in and of itself. Measure Man, thank you again for the super chat. They will not accept a pardon because it admits guilt, so it's strategic. Speaking with my son as an attorney, he explained to me it is a strategy. It's a weak strategy. It's a weak strategy. Because if you were so smart and you had a strategy, what you should have did in your closing arguments is said you should have gave the jury instructions on why they need to find not guilty on all 5 counts. Not guilty on RICO because there's no co-conspirators, Not guilty on this because of Not guilty on that because of Not guilty on the Mann Act because per the definition of the Mann Act, he didn't commit none of those crimes. He didn't profit off of this. He was giving people money, so forth and so on. No, I'm sorry, y'all. I have to stand on the train alone tonight. That was not genius. It doesn't make sense. When you have the opportunity to defend your clients, you defend them on everything. You don't come back later and said, oops. It's almost like they looked up the precedent after he was already charged, and when they couldn't find no case studies to go in alignment with that, they was like, ooh, wait a minute, y'all should have never did this in the first place. You got how many lawyers that were high powered on that side? You should have argued that thing in the closing arguments. Kay, your thoughts?
Well, Diva, I'm with you in this train. I'm with you. I agree, and I'm also a witness of when they did the first raid. You said this was bogus and they have nothing. You said it from the beginning. I agree that they are not going to throw this out. I feel like if they were to, that they would have Me Too marches all over the place, okay? And it would turn into a whole thing worse than it already has. But I highly doubt they would ever throw it out. And I agree that they already have shame, you know, by the way they handled the whole situation. So at this point, they have to go full steam ahead. There's no turning back now. You know, they have to see it through, whatever the outcome. I also agree that he would probably be better off just keeping his mouth shut and just sit tight, let it ride out. He's probably going to get, you know, time served, whatever the case is, or pardon or whatever. Just keep quiet. Just, you know, and if they were even to, you know, go through this, you know, try him again, which I doubt they would, but for him to even, you know, entertain that or put that out there, it's like, have you no shame, sir? You know, have you no shame? Look at all the things that were exposed, the things that you were carrying on with. You know, we saw you behave like an animal on that video with Cassie. You know, all of that came out and you got through that by the skin of your teeth. You know, just shut your mouth and just sit down and just wait. Because right now, things have been going in his favor. All of, you know, in spite of all of his business being exposed, things have been going in his favor. You know, the charges that I do also agree with Callie that I see where they're coming from, where the attorneys are coming from. But I'm back on the train with you again, because, you know, at the very least, they should have argued it in their closing arguments. At the very least.
At the 100%.
Yeah, and that wasn't done. So now at this stage, now you want to talk about it when we're waiting on sentencing, and now you want to bring this up? And how much are they getting paid? Listen, they need to send you some of those dollars, Diva.
Child, listen, it just doesn't even make logical sense. It does, and let me say this respectfully. Like I said before, is if you got all consenting adults, I don't care who you sleep with and what you're doing. But let me be clear. Well, let me say this. One of the S workers that I think he's suing, is he suing Diddy? I think he's suing Diddy and Cassie. I can't remember. I think he's suing Diddy and Cassie, right? One of the S workers. And he said there was a situation where Diddy told him to move out the way, and Diddy went over there to do whatever he was doing with Cassie, and he told him to watch, right? And he said Diddy kept turning his body towards the guy's face and putting his backside in his face. So I say all that to say this. I believe that a lot of these entertainers, they all sleep together, whether it's girl, guy, girl. And that's why I think he's treading down the wrong road. Just because there's a lot of people that did not speak. And if you bring this thing back to the court, sir, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know who might return this time. And trust and believe the prosecutors that come this time, they will dig up under rocks looking for people, and they're going to get more aggressive with these subpoenas. Okay.
I'm sure KK would show up too.
Yeah, they're gonna get more aggressive with these subpoenas. Like I said, I never known you could get a subpoena and then told somebody you ain't coming. But they will get more aggressive with these subpoenas. I think he should let it go. Don't take a part in it. Will cover up Maxwell distraction. This super chat is to keep the party going, not denying he innocent, but not writing law in real time ain't right. Love you, Diva. I love you back. Listen, that Mann Act, it is racist, it's old, it's out of control. So I don't disagree that nothing in the Mann Act, he did none of that, right? But my problem is with the defense team. How do you not argue it? And now you want to come and try to tell us all these facts about the Mann Act. You should have told the jury that, people. Katrina, your thoughts?
I'm with you on the train, Diva. Choo, choo, choo. He just need to listen. Won't he just sit down, wait till October the 3rd?
Come on.
Let the people tell you if you are gonna be sentenced or you did time served, and go from there. If you get a pardon from Trump, he said if he don't give him he gets jail time, he'll give him a pardon. But the thing of it is, you might not even need all that. You might be walking out the door on October the 3rd. Sit down. I know he got an itch for them freak offs and his other stuff, but you gotta let that ride. You in that situation right now. You need to be in there praying, meditating, getting all kind of counseling, doing all this type of stuff. So when you do come out, you will be focused. And like you said the other night, you don't need to go back to these places because they're triggers. Maybe you need to sell these homes or do something else. Just do something different. Because when you get in those homes and you realize what you did in these homes, and he probably got stuff stashed somewhere everywhere in that house, he need to just sit down. Just sit down and wait. Let the folks tell you what's gonna happen on October the 3rd and go from there. You have did all this time in there. The summer is almost over. You can't be diddy bopping anyway right now anyway. So let the folks tell you what's gonna happen on October the 3rd. I know nobody want to be in there on the charges that you in there on, because like I said, I've seen Johns get bailed out the next day, the same night. Some of them just sign a signature bond and go home. So I understand how he's feeling on that part. But you got something fighting against you way more than the legal system. It's something else they holding you in there for. It's something, I don't know why. I don't know who paid them to do this or whatsoever, but I think they hold him in there for a reason. And I don't think it's the legal reason. But like I said, come back October the 3rd. Let the people tell you what's going to happen, and then you make your decision from there. Then you tell they want to do lock you up, whatever. Then you ask for another retrial. I mean, just wait. Stop jumping and doing things. Let your lawyer handle it. And then, like you said, what was the paralegals? While the lawyer was working on this part, the paralegals supposed to have been working on the back end to find any type of thing to get him up out of here. So, I mean, it's a stretch. But like you said, I don't think he should do another retrial, because maybe these people they get this time, ain't gonna come in that line like they did on the stand for you
talk
this time.
about it.
You know what I'm saying? They gonna tell the truth this time. You don't know who they finna come out and go get. Maybe they're gonna get we don't need this person no more because they lied. We gonna go to this person. We gonna go to this person. And maybe they're gonna start going to some of his artists and asking them what happened.
They're gonna come hard.
Yeah,
they're gonna
go to them artists. They're gonna start going to those his artists and ask them what did they see and all this stuff. Like, I don't understand why they ain't pull Stevie J and all them. I don't understand why they ain't pull Faith and all them. I don't understand why they ain't pull Mary J. Blige and all them.
I could answer that, but they're gonna go hard and tell these people.
They're gonna go hard on him this time. He better sit down and see what be in there and start praying and see what's gonna happen. And hope he get a judgment that he can walk up out of there. But if he try to do this stuff, like you said, these people are already mad because they already lost what, $500 million. So you honestly think they just gonna let you slide? You better sit down and just wait and see what's gonna happen. But we'll see how it goes. But that's all I got, Diva.
Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Diddy's team requested dismissal for both counts of P during the pre-trial motions. Judge denied. Also, Diddy's team could not challenge the applicability of the charges during the trial. I said they should have addressed it in the closing arguments. When Mark did those closing arguments, he ripped it. He toted the line. He said stuff that he told the judge that he wasn't going to say. So why not go ahead and add to tell the people, don't even find him guilty on this Mann Act? Because this is the definition and it doesn't apply. Now, yes, increase matters. I did see this. She said, Diva, the crypto guy, was released on a $1 million bond in New York City. If y'all don't know what that story is, it was the guys with the crypto coins and they held somebody, against their will.
One of the Tate brothers?
No. Held them against their will. Allegedly it was torturing him, this, that, and the other, and was trying to rob him. And yes, I did see it was just $1 million bond. I said, well, ain't this something?
Didn't we later find out, is this the same one where we found out the guy was in the hotel smoking cooking substances in an air fryer and he wasn't being really held against his will?
So they say.
He didn't look held against his will to me.
So they say. But either way, that whole case was a hot stinking mess on video. And he's out on $1 million bond in New York City. And again, so here's my thing too. I don't dislike Diddy's team, right? But they are all over the place because you filed on Monday to get him out yet again, and you offer yet again a $50 million bond. But yet you're working on the back end to file on Wednesday for him to all this to be thrown out, whatever. I'm not going to keep offering you $50 million if I'm saying to y'all that y'all should have never charged my client in the first place, and it's bogus. It's like they're reading stuff, and every time they see something new, they're like, okay, we're going to go back with this. They got to get this thing together, do it all in one shot, and let this thing be a slam dunk. This whole new trial, Diddy would be a fool. So you're going to pay, I don't know how much he paid for this team, but I'm sure, because most of the lawyers on that level, they're getting about $3,000 to $5,000 per hour. And it wasn't just the trial hours, it was them meeting him before and after. And still doing work on it. So he paid a pretty penny for this. You really want to pay all that money again just so you could get off on the Mann Act? Sir, stop. Now, I will say this. I do believe that the judges, I think the judge was going to go for the gusto initially when he sentenced him. I do think the judge is going to rethink that. Because there's no case studies where, somebody got all of this time before that. No new trial. He needs to keep that money. He needs to keep the money. And especially because Trump is offering him a pardon anyway. And I don't know if Diddy's thinking in his head that if there's no criminal charges at all, it's going to help him recover his career quicker or better. I don't think so. So unfortunately, I'm starting to believe Diddy learned nothing. Well.
I would like to think so, but a lot of times when you're on those types of substances for that long, usually those people aren't quite right, and sometimes they can't quite get off of them. Even if they do, their thinking isn't great. I can definitely see him, if he gets out of there, he is going to produce a documentary and monetize off of this, because he doesn't have an NDA. Like, he's not the person that got a settlement. So he's going to produce some sort of documentary and make himself look like he's the victim of the system. He's going to recoup this money. He's going to figure out some scheme, because that's what he is. He's a marketer and a schemer. He's not a real, I don't want to go into it, but he's not a real businessman like people think he is. He's going to come up with some scheme to recoup this money. He's got nothing else to do in there but to think about it.
So wait, Measurement, you say he's suing News Nation, NBC, YouTubers, and Hulu? Were he suing about the documentary, or what the YouTubers were saying about him? I don't know. He can't market his brand with a bad reputation. I think if the DV wasn't involved in this case, I think he might have had a easier recovery. Listen, stranger things has happened. I can't call it right now, but I think if it wasn't for the DV, he might have had, an easier transition back in. That's just my thought process.
Oh, no, he's going to have to switch it up. But the problem is, if we would have only saw the DV and we didn't know about none of this other stuff that came out in this trial, I would have said, you know what, he's done. The problem is, we found out too many other details. We found out too much of the backstory. And then they have sort of made him a victim of the system. I'm telling you, he's going to weasel his way back into a way. He'll never be what he was before, but he's going to weasel his way into some way of recouping this money.
Yeah, he needs to humble himself for sure. I just think this pushing. I think he's pushing the envelope now. I think he's pushing the envelope.
Well, you see, his son is already on a press tour.
I saw this, but I didn't listen to it. But isn't he promoting his work or something?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to be mean, but who's really buying his music? Does he really have a fan base like that?
Well, over here I always say, let the kids live. It's always hard when you got a parent that does something and then everybody wants to pull that on you. So he's still working. Let him work. Let him live. You talking about Christian King Combs, right? I saw.
He has the unfortunate advantage of walking around with his father's face. That's another problem.
That is
extra added problem.
That is Diddy 100%. That is Diddy. He spit him out. He spit him out. He really, really did. He really, really did. This is. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna do a general thing right now. A lot of these black men in entertainment, they need to get their lives together. You got that one rapper. I think they said he's having his 13th child. And he's
NBA young boy. Yeah, Trump pardoned him too.
Yeah, he's married, and then you got the girl. Your wife had a baby. Floyd Mayweather's daughter is having his baby. I will never understand a woman that this man got all of these kids, and you laying down with him, risking your life first of all, and then you're willing to have his kid. See, that's another thing that ties back into the Diddy thing. It's like, y'all knew what he was about way before we did, and y'all still went and was hanging with him and doing stuff with him, and y'all want us to give y'all a refund. Like, I don't get it. Measurement, thank you again for the super chat. All the defamation, libel, and things YouTube has said on federal grounds are considered a felony. So Nancy Disgrace, claiming one was her reporter, is named, they called us violent wolves. Am I reading this right? I'm not catching it in.
I wouldn't surprise me if there's something legal happens with Nancy Grace again, because it's happened before.
Okay.
Because Nancy Grace was really saying some wild,
she's disgusting,
inaccurate things.
She's disgusting.
Yeah, she is
gross and disgusting. She really is. And when she doesn't like the person being accused, she is, and you, this girl is supposed to be a professional, and she is worse than some YouTubers who just want to put 20 on 10. She is.
Yeah, she is. She's out there.
She's out there. And then when that one person said that Diddy's private parts was like a Tootsie Roll, and Nancy Grace had a Tootsie Roll, I'm like, girl, you're supposed to be real journalism. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, she was. I only saw a few clips, but apparently she was just playing with the Tootsie Roll like every show or something. I don't know, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if something legal happens with her again. And it at all, because she was just really just
was out there.
I understand we have freedom of speech, but I think the problem that has now happened, and maybe it's always been happening and we just didn't have another source, we are now catching these people that are supposed to be real journalists either making up things or editing clips or showing half of the clip and making it look like it was something that it wasn't, or not showing the full story, even though they have the full story. Like, this is happening almost on a daily basis. There was something that happened, I can't remember what it was, where they actually, it was a thing in Cincinnati with the bar, with the people fighting at the bar. And there were people that came out and actually said the guy that got beat up was the one that hit this man first, and he started the entire altercation. And it's the media went and tried to say that this man was being attacked by Black people because he was white and all of this whole thing. Come to find out, the man was the one who was the aggressor, and the other two people jumped in, and it just became a whole thing. But this is happening almost every time there's a big news story. We find out that you guys are kind of lying or not really telling the full truth. So I do think that eventually this thing with Shannon, this lady suing Shannon, I think that this is the beginning of people just gonna start suing, because it's like they feel like they have no choice. If you're gonna make up a fake husband that I'm cheating on with a celebrity that I don't even have, you know what I mean? Like, what can I do to defend myself? People gonna start. People gonna start suing these people.
Yeah. So at Chronicles, remember, yes, I do remember when she quit. If she don't like Black people, and the minute one of them get in trouble, she will go ham. She will go ham. A certain YouTuber was on Nancy Grace's show talking reckless too. Listen, Nancy grace is not allowed on mainstream because of Melissa Durkert. Nancy, and
that's why I said again, something legal is gonna happen with her again, because it already happened once.
I'm trying to remember that story now.
Yeah, I believe someone lost their life behind her in this crazy fanatical making up stuff, sensational. She is really like a very unhinged person.
She is.
Yeah. I don't know where her back. Where did she go to school for? Journalism or lawyer or legal?
She is a lawyer. Let me see, Nancy Grace. I want to say she is a lawyer. Yep, she is a lawyer.
She had that judge. She was playing a judge on Fox. She had a judge show. She was a judge, but she's a lawyer.
Yeah, she is. She wait, let me see. Occupations, political commentator, television person, former prosecutor. She's a former prosecutor. She's when you do former district attorney. Thank you, Amy J. Listen, when you do like this sector of YouTube, right, you gotta really tread lightly. It's not an easy thing to do, because even when you say your opinion on some things, because they're mad about it, they want to sue you. They want to kind of shut you down. I always give my opinion, but I don't get into the sensationalism of it all. That's why, you know, like I said, I really don't care who sleep with who. This was not what this case was about. This case was about them really trying to railroad Diddy, and they just wanted to get him, and they did that RICO, you know, because they wanted that money. They wanted that money. And I think that's part of why they wasn't worrying about how much money they were spending on the trial. They thought 10 toes down he was going to be found guilty. And that's why they kept playing that video over and over and over and over and over again, because they was hoping that a jury would disregard the facts and just be angry and upset that Cassie got beat in that video. Go ahead, Kay. What did you want to say?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say, unfortunately, I don't think that with everything that we saw, that anything will change in the industry. I think these type of parties will continue to happen. Women will continue, young women will continue to sell themselves for a bag, for a Birkin, for, you know, some Louis Vuittons and what have you. And I think that the men will continue to be abusive, you know, to these women, whether it's, you know, sexually, financially, emotionally, whatever. I think all of this will continue. What I am glad that on this channel that there was conversation, in spite of the backlash that you got, but there was conversation about, you know, to the women, to the young girls listening, you know, how to not find themselves in these types of situation. Whereas on, I would say most other channels that I have seen were more so just talking about the women being victims and this is so awful. And, but the conversation wasn't being had as to how they got there and why it's not okay and how they can do things differently. But I'm glad that that conversation was being had over here, and I think it is important, and thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, because it was almost like everybody's making it seem like that you're powerless, regardless of if we're in the entertainment industry or if we're working at Target, Walmart. We all got the same similar goals. We want to be able to live our life and pay our bills, but it's like you don't have to lose your integrity to do said things. And that's why I tell the truth about my life over here, hoping somebody will understand that there's no shame in not having the things that these people are portraying on these social media platforms. The half of them are starving in their mansions, can't pay their bills. It's just craziness. And I promise you, I'll find the pictures and I'll show y'all one day. I promise y'all, I had no dining room or living room furniture for years. Not even months, years. My living room and dining room was empty. But I had the keys to my own place. We had food in the refrigerator, and I went on vacations and everything with my empty living room and dining room. It is not that serious. And people, and I didn't, people was in my house. People were in my house. It's not that serious, because if you are really surrounded by people that you care about and they truly care about you, they're not going to care if you have 3 couches, a chair, or a pillow, or they got to sit on the floor. They're not. And so people got to stop being ashamed of what they have and stop waiting until you allegedly are going to have more. If your pockets say studio apartment, treat your studio apartment like it's a mansion. I call my little townhouse my mini mansion. And I love it here, and I'm very comfortable, and I can pay my bills, and I don't need to do any trickery or try to find a man so I could get with him and he could pay my bills or give me whatever. And for all of them that kept saying, well, I depended on, he was paying my bills, or without him. No, you just didn't want to go to Macy's, Target, Walmart, or something to go work, because there you could have worked someplace else. I won't understand the mindset of you okay with getting beat, exploited, talked to any old kind of way, getting substances, becoming addicted. You rather all of that than to live in a studio apartment. You need therapy.
I don't think it was just the money. I think there was a groupie element as well.
Yeah,
and we've heard about the mindset of these groupies really my whole life. You know what I mean? Ever since I was a little kid, I've heard about the mindset of these
But I
women
asked Michael Jackson, Dirty Diana.
Yeah, they just want to be with a man that's famous. And I think that was also a part of it. I don't think it was just the money. I think that there was a groupie element here as well. And then, on our end, I think we made up a whole backstory for Cassie that didn't even exist. Like, I don't even think that their relationship worked that way. I don't think she was ever being held there and couldn't leave. Matter of fact, I don't even think she did leave. I think he did. So, yeah. Granted, she was already messing with the trainer, which is why he left. But I don't think that she wanted both of them. He figured it out, and it kind of sounds like their relationship fizzled. It doesn't sound like, oh my God, she escapes with her life. I mean, she named her kid after him. I don't think she ever wanted to leave that relationship.
She did,
but she just couldn't get him to herself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff are things that we have all made up and kind of made up this scenario of this sort of woman in a traditional DV situation, and they didn't even live in the same house ever. Like, this wasn't her situation. So I think there's a lot has a lot to do with a lot of this craziness that's going on.
It's very sad. And let me say this also. Where I really feel for Cassie is the sense that she went through these addiction issues. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And she, whatever space she was in at the time, because listen, she came from a home with a mother and father, right? So it's like, how did you get here where I'm trying to find the right word to say where.
But there's a lot of kids that come from good homes and I think it's more of like I don't know, Dr. Drew said sometimes genetically, some people are just more prone to becoming addicted to something. And they try something casually, like a lot of other people do. Sometimes it's this weed or alcohol, and their body reacts to it in a certain way, and they end up with a very bad addiction. It's not always that they had this childhood trauma. Sometimes they have a reaction to something that we would never get addicted to.
Mm-hmm. She may have came from a good home, but her parents weren't good to her because I'm sorry, the mother was taking photos. She didn't make a phone call to anyone. The father was there after all of this happened.
Yeah, that was
did he not come and stay the weekend over there?
He did.
Under her roof? There's no way.
Yeah,
there's just no way.
Suspicious of the mom.
So what kind of good home is that?
The mom didn't even try to blackmail him and say, look, you have to stay away from my daughter or else I'm going to the press.
Because she was profiting. She was benefiting from the relationship too.
Yeah, it's almost like the O.J. Simpson situation, right?
Yeah.
Their whole family was benefiting from the relationship, and then when their sister lost her life, then that's when he was the monster. He was this, he was that. But they started businesses off of his money, went to college off of his money. So yeah, it's sad, and that's why, you know what, too. I just, I always tried to tell my son, it's not that serious.
But we can say the same thing about the R. Kelly people. I mean, these people knew what type of person R. Kelly was. That's why.
Well, I think it's a mixture because the family.
No, I'm just saying they already knew what type of person R. Kelly was, because R. Kelly used to be out there at the mall getting young girls and at the schoolyard. And what I'm saying is, when they bringing these kids to this man, yes, he's very talented. I mean, you can't take that away from it. But they already knew what his MO was. And that's why I said that more than him should be locked up. I think the whole little group should be locked up, from the mama
I
to the
agree.
uncle to the cousins to the nieces to all of them should be locked up right along with him, because they allowed this stuff to happen. He did it. I mean, R. Kelly can't even read. He don't even know how to fill out a check draft. So somebody had to be there to sign these papers, to do this. They knew what type of person he was. Yes, he was good and he's very talented, but they knew his mindset. And that's why they set him up to get taken as they did, because they knew what type of people that he liked to be around. He liked the young underage girls, and they brought those girls there. And like I said, all of them should be locked up, not just him. All of them. All of them need to be locked
There
up.
was actually one girl who was of age in that state who did something. And I have people argue me down. I said, no, she should have been arrested too.
Yeah, hold on 1 second, guys. Measurement, thank you so much for the super chat. Just need law implemented. My oldest professional basketball player in Atlanta, model brand ambassador, youngest attorney. I'm a single father. I have to answer my wife's promise I made as she rests. Well, condolences, you know, regarding your wife. And yes, and blessings to all the fathers that, you know, are really raising their kids and instilling some morals in them. Again, Measurement, thank you for the super chat. Part 2. They and my only grandson is my life. So I try to help people understand our point of view. Are some of us men, and like me, why I worry and pray daily for my Black sons. Whoo, listen, I pray too, because, you know, when it comes to kids, no matter what you do, something can happen. But you got to try your best to instill morals in your sons and your daughters. Because when you have a female that is out there, and just like I think too, Kim Porter's dad is full of crap, because when the video came out of Cassie being beat, he was like, oh my God, if I knew Diddy was doing that, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, he's so full of crap. He's so full of crap.
Can I just say
Measurement,
something
if you
really
want
quick?
to, if you want to do, you can send her the cash app. If YouTube won't let you send her, won't let you send that amount, her cash app is on the screen. It's screaming through. You can send her the cash app.
Who said something about it? What happened? Something happened?
Measurement saying he was trying to send you an amount of money, but YouTube won't let him do it. So I was telling him that he can send it to your cash app.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Katrina. Kate, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say that was lovely from the father, and it's right on target to what I was going to say concerning Cassie's father. Where is he? I didn't see anything from him. I never heard anything from him.
I
mean,
didn't
I'd
even
like to know.
Still around until recently.
Well,
I swear
and
I didn't.
I'd like to know what kind of father sees your daughter battered and bruised up, and then you turn around and have breakfast with the person who did it in your home.
You know,
where they do that?
But you guys, there might be a cultural element to this as well, because in a lot of cultures, women do not have rights, and DV is still like they're in the 40s. Like, it's like, you know, that's deal with it.
What kind of culture? What kind of culture? Didn't she grow up in?
I believe he's from the Philippines. So, you know.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't see where that makes a difference.
From the Philippines, but there are a lot of cultures where women do not really have the rights that we have, and this type of stuff is a little bit more normal. So it could be a cultural thing too.
Heck, in Iran,
so she had from a cultural thing, not having rights, but she had full autonomy to do what she wanted with her body everywhere.
I mean with the father not doing anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm speaking of the father as just specifically. No, I think she was an out of control child. I think she had a substance problem, and her parents probably did not know what to do with her. But they wanted her, was hoping that she could be famous because she was pretty. And I honestly think that's what it was.
I agree.
You know what though, either way, I will say this. I pray that at some point things in this industry changes. I feel like no child should be able to be under a certain age and be allowed to be in a studio or on a movie set or whatever, doing something without their parent being right there. So it's just so many things that I hope changes in this industry, because I think that a lot of changes need to be, implemented. And also too, I think that is unfair because so many of these actors have said on the sets of a lot of these things, there's a whole lot of substances just freely being offered. So I just feel like there's so many changes that need to happen. But I also feel like some of these people, no matter what your dream is, you have to say to yourself, if something doesn't feel right, look right, you got to walk away from it. You got to walk away from it. I think there's a lot of messed up people out there right now as a result of what happened to them, in the industry. So we shall see. I thank y'all for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for the conversation. It's a lot going on, and we're going to stay connected and to these stories, and I'll give you the updates. Cassie was living a lavish lifestyle. She liked the lifestyle more than she liked herself.
Amen.
She liked the lifestyle, and there ain't no way I'm gonna like a lifestyle more than I like myself. That's gonna be a pass for me, okay? But anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.